Well, folks, if this that I'm about to share with you is true, well, I'm pretty sure AMC could be started trading around what, $6,000 a share? $6,000 a share. Nothing's ever seen in life, but let's see how this could be true. All right. So, if you haven't heard, Goldman Sachs is now under an investigation by the Department of Justice. And because Goldman Sachs is also one of the owners of one of the biggest dark pools out there so far, named Sigma 2, well, that is also part of the prop. As you can read here, Goldman Sachs has listed pretty much everything the firm does as a target of an ongoing investigation, notwithstanding that the company and a subsidiary were criminally charged by the U.S. Department of Justice, or the DOJ, in the looting and bribery scandal known as 1MDB in October 2020. Admitted the charges and had to pay $2.9 billion. But the good news is, because this is kind of in the past, the good news is Goldman Sachs' dark pool are one of the areas it lists as being under a probe currently as of today. Well, we all know that dark pools are this kind of under the table activity where big boys with the big pockets, used to do business without having to report whatever they're doing under the table to the reporter, to the officials like the SEC or whoever authority out there. Now, what is really interesting is not only are Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, UBS, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, and numerous others allowed to trade hundreds of New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ listed stocks in the new dark pools, in their own dark pools, all right, which is kind of also the major issue here with AMC and GameStop when it comes to why the price is not moving, if pretty much everything as far as all the outstanding shares are owned by retail investors, all right? Why the price is not moving? Because they are pretty much, as owners, trading some of even these listed stocks on these dark pools, but they are also allowed to trade their own bank stock in their own dark pools, which will not be surprising to me because it's kind of legal according to the law. We have asked the SEC for years now how it is legal for a bank to trade its own stock. Again, it may be legal, but it's kind of, because there is a difference between the two. Possibly making a two-sided market in that stock because some of these firms own more than one dark pool. We've yet to receive an answer. There we hope that this is finally being seriously investigated by Gary Gensler's SEC. Now, the problem here when it comes to AMC and these dark pools is the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, dark pools is, to me, alongside with PFOF, payment for order flow, one of the biggest issues and reasons why the price is still hovering at some levels, which when you look at the math behind the law of supply and demand, which by the way should be the reason behind the pricing of the value of any stock listed in the market. All right. But because they are able to do whatever they want to do in big amounts in those dark pools where nobody has them to kind of report what they're doing, and we know that this will change, if not yet already the case. Well, to give you a little bit of an idea of how big of an issue this is, somebody posted earlier on Reddit, "Thank you, Citadel, for finally settling this dispute over the price target for AMC. Based on the double transactions, AMC has twice the volume of Amazon and Microsoft. We're talking about $1.5 trillion for Amazon and $2.25 trillion market cap for these two when it comes to Microsoft. So then, if you kind of take the big volume when it comes to what AMC has been trading so far in those dark pools, then AMC should have a market cap of $3 trillion. If based on dark pool transactions, AMC has twice the volume of Amazon and Microsoft, all right? Twice. So twice 1.5 and twice 1.3. So we're just taking an average there. We're landing on $3 trillion. This is $3,000 billion, folks. If you divide it by 500 million, which is around the outstanding shares out there that are being traded in the market, and which I believe more than even 100% it's owned by retail investors, then you land around a price around $6,000 per share. Now we have to kind of give a little bit of clarity here, all right? the amount of double transactions, we're talking about transactions here, it's not entirely the same thing when it comes to the market capitalization, but both are kind of similar because usually, I mean, not similar, but they kind of tie into each other. Why? Because the amount of volume when it comes to the transactions, will actually push the share price to a certain level, which ultimately, by multiplying that by the outstanding shares, will give you a market cap. That's why AMC at $100 a share will not have the market cap when it's trading at $30 a share. Makes sense? Now, the thing is, when you take a look here at dark pools being investigated, especially Goldman Sachs being under this probe, and this is something that was, posted May 6th. We are now May 8th, so 2 days ago. And when you look at this math, the math behind how big dark pools has an impact on the share price of AMC, well, I would tend to believe why the hedge funds or some of these, big balls on Wall Street don't want the dark pools to be enlightened. They don't want transparency to come into the dark pools. Why? Because it will pretty much shed a light on some of the deals that they're doing that is not really something they should do according to the law, according to the rules, according to the regulations, right? So the bottom line is, when you look at what the market is doing or going, and when you look at how some of these little hedge funds, which may not even operate in the dark pools, are so vulnerable when it comes to where we are sitting currently in terms of market conditions, it's a no-brainer that at some point something will have to break. And when that happens, the gates of heaven, it's like the gates of heaven will now be open for this to be like bananas. So would that mean $6,000 a share for AMC? Well, I don't know. Nobody can tell you exactly, but it's still worthy, into my opinion, to actually wait, even if it's just for $600 a share.